My name is John Penquet, and this is Ultimate Landlord. Ultimate Landlord is a place and the company that focuses relentlessly on facts, data, market intelligence, and real-world experiences in the property industry. Now, if you're serious about investment, you need serious, relevant information. Get-rich-quick schemes are not for you. You know your goals and your purpose. You're a high performer, you focus on investing, and you need the latest information to stay on top of your game. Ultimate Landlord is here for people like you, people who do this. No get rich quick, more get rich smart. Ultimate Landlord is the place for you to realise your full potential as a property investor. Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest podcast from Ultimate Landlord. Really excited to be talking to Claire today. Claire does amazing stuff when it comes to leasing through her business, Cashflow Leasing. I know if any of you are refurbing or regenerating properties, Claire is your go-to person really when it comes to that sort of activity, because there's absolutely loads that she can help with, and she's really cool to chat to as well. So if nothing else, you'll have a great chat with her. So welcome, Claire.
Hi, thanks John for having me.
That's
Looking forward to chatting.
Oh, gosh. Well, at the moment today, as I've just explained, I'm actually in self-isolation because of apparently into contact with someone with coronavirus. So rather than the salubrious office setting behind me, you've actually got me sat on my comfy chair having a chat. So I don't have a cough. My throat isn't sore. I don't have a temperature. I do feel tired, but that's because I'm old. And it's just getting the better of me. So how are you doing, Claire? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Moseying on with the leasing and things. You've got me in my kitchen today. Sometimes I go out in the office, depends what mood I'm in. Today I'm in the kitchen mood today. Just thought it was a bit more relaxed rather than being in an office, to have a conversation with you and let you know what we do and how we help people.
Our offices are so 2019, aren't they? We're all home workers now in 2020, embracing the merits of homework and Zoom.
Yeah, 100%.
So a bit about you, Claire. I mean, what got you involved in the property industry? How did you start out with? How have you got to where you are today? Tell us more.
Okay, so a bit like a lot of people, we used to watch Homes Under the Hammers. I think that's what it's called, with old Martin Roberts. And we went to one of his one-day event things and signed up to their course, and learned quite a bit from them, to be honest. The usual buy-to-lets, that sort of thing. Then went on so I did that was 2016, so quite a few years ago now. And then went on to do a bit of training with like Progressive and people like that, and some other, don't really want to name drop too many people, but those sort of people. The big companies basically that a lot of people have had trainings with and things like that. And I am grateful for them for teaching me what I know. While I was training, what was I doing? I'm trying to remember now. I think at one point we had a little bed shop. So me and my partner James, he used to run his family business doing furniture logistics, so delivering other people's furniture. So big names such as, I can't even think what they are now. My God, gone blank.
People like that.
Is that sorry?
DFS and people like that, was it?
No, more of like Hypnos beds.
The posh stuff.
They did, so they did a lot of refits for like the travel lodges and stuff. So they had a team that would go out, take out all the old beds and put in all the new ones. So they were quite key doing that. So at the time, we had a little bed shop in a little local village called Wotton Bassett. So I know like the furniture side of it, and I used to do all the phone calls for the family to book in deliveries and stuff like that. So I did that for a little while. And then it got to the point where it was like, well, I want to do something that is to do with property. And I spoke to another lady that did furniture leasing.
Okay.
And she was in Legacy Asset Academy sort of group. And I went to meet her. And because I have obviously property knowledge, got furniture knowledge, And I had a little bit of background with finance, but it was more sort of pensions and the boring stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm a quick learner, so literally started with them about 2 years ago. I was their only employee at the time, so it literally, I did everything from start to finish. I built relationships with lenders, with customers, and I just learned so much. And then beginning of last year, I left them. And the reason for leaving was just literally I was going to be a sourcer. And everyone thinks it's really easy to be a sourcer. It's not. It is so hard.
It's very easy to give someone money to be trained to be a sourcer. That's one thing I would say. As every training organisation under the sun seems to want to convince you that for just £997 or similar amount, you can become a property sourcer.
I think I paid a little bit more than that. I did like a mastermind and things like that. But I think what I lacked was the hand holding. I know that sounds silly, but it was like you get told go and do something, but then you're left on your own and you don't know. And for me, it was like I'm quite an ethical person, so everyone was like, go out and find a deal, and I'm like, well, what's a good deal? What's a good deal to me might not be a good deal to someone else. And and you've got certain ways of thinking because the way you've been trained. And I really struggled with that, and I just felt like I can't do this, because what if I give someone a bad deal? And that was just what it was for me, and I really struggled.
You know what, you're not on your own, and to be honest with you, that's probably where we see our greatest successes in Ultimate Landlord, because you're absolutely right. And for people that are listening, this story is just repeated time and time again. In our industry, we go and we spend huge amounts on training. You spend huge amounts on training. You, the audience that is listening, spend huge amounts on training, and you need it because you need it because you need to have the skills to be able to do certain things. But what's not provided is the insight and the intelligence and the background research that you need to do to be able to find the right type of deal, property, sourcing, whatever it is. You need to have the ability to analyze the market, do data analysis, do market analysis, and then have someone alongside you or with you who's challenging what you do and measuring whether or not it will work with a wider audience. The best example that I can think of that is I see time and time again is when people are looking for HMOs and they're looking to buy HMOs, and they try and because they're so fixated on the strategy of buying an HMO, they will take anything and do their level best in desperation to make it an HMO. And why do they do that? Why do you, the audience, get pushed to do that? Because it looks good on paper, and the deal, you use those words, the deal stacks. A deal doesn't stack unless a tenant's renting it and it's sat in the room in that HMO. All of the rooms are filled and it's working. And so many people get caught out by that. They buy stuff that doesn't work. So thank you for being so honest about that, because a lot of people just won't. They'll just say, oh, it's working really well for me, I'm doing fantastic. I can hear myself having said that in the past. I can hear other people saying that, and I just really, it drives me bonkers when I think, gosh, you know what, you're just making such a mistake, because you've got the tools but you to do the work, but you haven't got the insight or the knowledge or the skills or the support to identify the areas where that does work, so that it's a good offer. Thank you for that. I didn't expect you to be so honest.
I am very honest. I
expect you to be so honest. Gosh, you're the most honest person I know, but there we go.
Yeah, I know. So when I got to the point of, I was thinking, sourcing isn't for me. I've got all this property knowledge. I've learned so much about leasing. I want to help people. You know what I'm like. I'm a big helper. Oh, yeah. And at the time, I did have a mentor that was coaching me. And he turned around and he said to me that if you're not comfortable doing the sourcing, then do what you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, okay. But it took me 3 months just to get the courage to do it, because I felt like, obviously, I'd left this other company and I didn't want to look bad. I worried about how people would perceive me, thinking, oh my God, you're now competition to somebody else. So for me, that was a big thing, to get the courage to actually do it. And I did, and that was June last year. And literally from the first month, the amount of people that obviously knew me before, like yourself, that literally come to me and said, oh yeah, we know you, we worked with you before, we like you, you know your stuff, that sort of thing. And same with the lenders as well. You know, when I thought, oh, you know, I'm a new person, you know, why are they going to work with me, that sort of thing. And I'd ring them up and I said, I'm starting my new business, I need lenders on board, will you work with me? And they were like, yeah, 100%, you know your stuff. Yeah. And to start with, I was a bit like, oh my God, you know, I am doing this. So yeah, and it sort of just grew from there. So and a lot of it is to do with partnerships, relationships, knowing people, and just literally getting out there. I was traveling the whole country for you know, presenting my business. And yeah, that was hard work, to be honest, because I've got a little girl and my partner, he works away a lot. And to be honest, one of the good things that's come out of COVID is that I can now present from my kitchen with my daughter in bed, you know, so that's been amazing, because I don't now have to worry about childcare. I don't have to go away for days on end and things like that. So that's been, yeah, really good. So that's where I am sort of today. And it's sort of, like I say, I was doing really, really well up to COVID. And then obviously things stopped. People weren't, like say, development stopped. People weren't actively going out because they couldn't, to get SAs, rent to rents, that sort of thing. So I had to rethink how I could help people. We've not really gone into what I do yet, but during the lockdown, I was looking to get money out of furniture that people had already put in properties. So as we know, during the lockdown, people were struggling for money and things like that. So my marketing, or my strategy, was I need to talk to people that have recently done HMOs or SAs and got money tied up in their furniture or their refurb, and work with them to release some of that capital back to get them over the next few months. So that's what I did during lockdown. And yeah.
So yeah, a big thing that you meant, I think you've probably mentioned it 4 or 5 times now, is the need for you feel the passion to help people, and that really comes across in everything that you do. I mean, with your business with Cashflow Leasing, tell us a bit about how that can help people, you know, investors, especially those investors that are honest and say, do you know what, cash is tight on this project, I need to possibly, you know, save some money in certain places. Tell us how you help with that.
So what my main aim is with Cashflow Leasing is to help investors to grow their businesses, be tax efficient, and also, you know, one of the things we do get taught in the property industry is use other people's money.
Yeah.
So leasing is basically that, you know, you're leveraging or borrowing money in order to pay for the items you need for your property.
Yeah.
It could be, like you said, furniture. It could be if you own the property, we can do some of the refurb costs, sort of kitchens, bathrooms, that sort of thing. But also, you know, not just property. So we can do serviced offices. If you have what they call a shop with a top, if you're looking to fit out the shop, then I can help with the fit out costs for that. You know, if you've got somebody who's interested in it and they want to set up a salon or a barber shop, but they can't afford to put the actual equipment in there, then I can help with that as well. So it's not just literally furniture, refurb, that sort of thing. Yeah, so that's predominantly what I do. So yeah, it's just a way of leveraging leasing in order to help you grow your business. And a bit like trying to think where I'm going with it. So
I suppose it's a little bit like me and my never-ending dilemma with vehicles, because I always look at vehicles. I lease my cars, and I look at them and I think, do you know what a waste of money, I'm leasing this, it's all going down the pan. And even now, even though I've educated myself and I've learned, I know that I'm being silly, but that voice is in the back of my head saying, oh, you should just buy the thing, don't lease it, buy it. And then I realized that if I don't know, spend £30,000 on a new car, that's £30,000 that I can't put into my next property or my next deal. You know, that next deal could potentially generate me £300, £400, £500 a month in net profit. So I would be absolutely daft to put all that 30,000 into a vehicle and purchase it when I can lease the thing, pay, I don't know, £400 a month, something along those lines, and then parallel to that, without having to wait, I can then go and do the deal that I might be doing on a property, and that deal will fund the lease. So a lot of us talk about opportunity cost, and I think the biggest opportunity cost for me is deferring large sums of money, large payments for items that depreciate. And if anyone who's read Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, he'd talk a lot about it. You should always lease liabilities. So even though I'll be honest, I always like to be honest, I find it hard to sign the forms, think, no, I should just buy the damn thing. I don't. I lease, and I think that also applies to properties as well. You can go to IKEA and you can buy furniture, and you can spend the entire weekend with your Allen key twisting it together. Or you can value your time, and you can go away and you can get the furniture delivered, installed, get a better quality. It'll probably last. Not that there's anything wrong with IKEA furniture, but it may last longer, because certainly if I put it together, it ain't going to last very long. And that cash can then be, or that investment you've made can be used to invest in something that makes you money, and then use the leasing to sort of leverage that cash. Sorry, I go off on a tangent when it comes to.
No, it's fine. I think you've explained it pretty well, to be honest.
Well, I'm being honest. I struggle sometimes with leasing, but I know when I put it in a spreadsheet, and that's what I do, and I analyze the numbers every single time, I can make many times more in terms of the use of the available capital I've got by leasing. Hence us talking.
No, that's fine. I mean, that's what the benefits are of leasing. It frees up your cash. A lot of my customers, so there's different sides of it. So you've got your HMO customers, you've got your SA customers, and you've got what I call like the people that own property. So both of those, you've got the rent to rent guys, that sort of thing. So there's loads of different strategies out there, and leasing can help them all in different ways. So with your HMOs, if you lease the furniture, like you said, you don't have the upfront cost. You've just got a minimal upfront cost, which is just an admin fee and your first month's premium. The rest is spread out over 3 years. And if you've purchased the right furniture, so the furniture's high quality, which is what you're going for, then you're going to get high quality tenants in there. Absolutely. So straight away, you're going to cover that leasing cost because you can charge a higher rental because it looks better. So that's for professional HMO guys. Also, the tax benefit for leasing for HMOs is if you were to purchase it yourself, you can't claim it back on your capital allowance. If you lease it, it's a business expense, so you can claim it back. So it's as if you're getting it technically for free, but you are obviously paying interest and things like that. Whereas damages, you've got the replacement rule, so you can claim back anything that gets broken, or you've got ASTs in place, that sort of thing. So that's the big question I have is like, what happens if something gets damaged? And I'm like, well, you're responsible for it. You don't own it, but you're responsible for it. So that's like one of the things. So for HMOs, the biggest benefit there is you can claim it back in your capital allowance. Obviously, for all strategies, you've got the corporation tax relief. But like you said as well, it could be that you've got what I call the domino effect. So you're doing a HMO refurb and something's happened. You've had to put more money into that refurb, which you had earmarked for the furniture. So then you've got a refurb that's overrun. You've got less money. So you think, right, less money, I'm going to go either to IKEA or buy lower grade stuff. Well, you do that, you're then going to get lower grade tenants, which means you're then going to get lower rent. So leasing will help. People think it's expensive as well, but it's not. If you can work out what your cash flow is per month, then what we like to do is see what that is, based on your void period and stuff, and make sure that it is affordable. Because obviously if we go through something like lockdown, we need to know that your bottom line is going to cover the lease. So that's another side of that I do, that I'm quite ethical. Same with like refurbs. A lot of people come to me and say, I want to borrow 60,000 for a refurb. And I'm like, well, it's going to cost you X amount a month. Can you afford that in your cash flow? And they'll be like, oh, it's a bit tight. And I'm like, well, let's not do 60, let's just do 30, or let's do a kitchen and a bathroom. So it's about being ethical to make sure that my customers can afford it.
And a lot of people are a little bit afraid because they don't, the fear of the unknown, and a lot of people will try and answer the question themselves without having the facts. Another thing that irritates me and the guys in Ultimate Landlord focus on the facts. What happens when that lease period comes to an end? So let's say we've got a 3-month lease. When we get to month 35 out of the 36, what's the process then? Because that's something that a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah. It's quite complex because you're leasing the furniture. You can't, and you're getting the tax benefits. You can't technically own it at the end of the term. So what happens is either Cashflow Leasing or the lender will call you 3 months before the end of the term to see what you want to do. There are options. One of the options is what most people do, which is continued use. So you pay a couple of months premium, and that extends a lease for another 2 years. So technically, you've then got that furniture for 5 years. You've only paid 3 years, 2 months. And at the end of those additional 2 years, because it's a depreciating asset, there's no intrinsic value left. So you can dispose of it, is what they say. So you can keep it, you can sell it, you can burn it, do what you want with it. So that's one of them.
Summarize that option. Basically, at the end of the term, and I know I'm paraphrasing a little, but at the end of the term, so you bought all this stuff. At the end of the term, you pay an extra 2 months, and you get to keep it.
Yeah, technically, but not in an accounting way. Not in an accounting way.
Dispose of it. How you?
Yeah, you got to dispose of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Another option that we do is where you can nominate a third party. So as long as it's not a director of the company, it can be a family member, a friend, something like that, and you pay 1% of the lease value, and then they then get the title of the asset. So technically, they then own it. And what else is there? You can own it at the end of it, but you'd have to speak to your accountant. So you can get direct, straight ownership. But like I said, because of the tax advantages, you'd have to see whether or not it's worth doing it. And then one of the things that I'm looking to do, which is completely different to other brokers out there, is I'm looking to offer a collection and recycle reuse option. So if at the end of the 2 years or the 3 years or the 5 years, you decide, you know what, let's get rid of this and I want to get new furniture in. So I'm looking to partner up with collection and recycling companies and work with, so some of the furniture, it might come back and it just have like a little nick here and there, but there are people out there that don't have furniture, they come off the streets and they're getting put into accommodation for the first time. So it's about helping those sort of people as well. So it'd be collecting it. Anything that is good and can be reused will go back to the community. Anything that isn't will be recycled. And people, because of the amount of, I think it's like 90% of furniture goes to landfill. A majority of that is mattresses as well. Mattresses, they are so hard to deconstruct. It's something that my partner had a passion for, and he wanted to do it within his mum and dad's company, but they decided to retire. And it was literally deconstructing furniture and mattresses and stuff like that. And he wanted to make dog beds out of it, bless him, because we've got like 4 Labradors. But yeah, it's the time, that's what costs the money, is the manpower to actually deconstruct it. But there are places over the UK that will do that. And so, yeah, that's one of the things I'm looking to do within the next couple of years, is to do that side of it.
Please do not ask me to help you to deconstruct anyone's old mattresses, please.
It's a nightmare.
It scares me.
I know, and they can be really not nice.
Yeah, well. I'm thinking, I've been to some houses where I don't want to be, I have to have social distancing from the bed.
Yeah. My partner, he used to collect them, like I said, to go to, obviously went to landfill, unfortunately. But some of them were just, you were like, I wouldn't let my dog sleep on that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no.
Realise, I hope nobody's eating while they're watching.
We're talking mattresses.
So let's change it a little bit. What about, you can lease lots of things, can't you? You don't just need to lease furniture. What other things can you lease?
I'm doing a hot tub at the moment.
You can lease a hot tub.
Yes. So only if it's for serviced accommodation, not for personal use. So only if it's for like a holiday let. Yeah, I'm doing that at the moment. Literally got one going through now.
My students would love that. My students in my student houses would. There's John, the landlord, coming over. Hi guys, I've got your hot tub.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet I'd fill the house, but I wouldn't want to see the electricity bill. Cool.
No, I'll clean it out.
Is that? Oh god.
Yeah.
What's the hot tub's quite a strange one. What's the strangest thing that anyone's ever leased? I bet it probably is the hot tub, actually.
Probably is the hot tub. To be honest.
But can you lease kitchen furniture, kitchen items, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of furniture packages actually include like kitchen packs, so you can lease right down to a teaspoon and a tea towel.
Wow.
So yeah, wall art, rugs,
Really?
light fittings. I'm trying to think what else. Linen packs.
You can cut a huge amount of cost out of your refurb by going down the leasing route. And you don't need to go ripping the chandeliers out of the ceiling and taking the pictures down at the end because of what you just described. You pay your 2 months, you have it for the 5 years, then you throw it, you recycle it or throw it away wherever you see fit.
Yeah.
So again, if you're in sort of if I would hazard a guess that probably in some of my refurbs that could add up to 10, maybe £15,000, that sort of stuff, and I could write that off over a 3-year period. And then I'd free me up with more money to do another purchase or another property renovation.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like the rent to rent guys. So I mentioned like HMOs, but rent to rent SAs. So what a lot of those do is, like you said, it's about they're going out there, they're looking for deals, and it's a bit like a bus. You wait for one and you get 3 at once. And a lot of them in the old days would be, I can only afford to do one, so I'll give 2 to someone else. Yeah. Well, I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Lease the furniture. You can get high-end quality furniture depending on the suppliers, that sort of thing. Or what some of mine do is they will lease what I call the hard stuff, so like your beds and stuff like that, and then they will save like a couple of £100 and they will go to IKEA and B&M and that, just to make it look unique.
Yeah.
So there are ways of leveraging the leasing for the hard stuff, and then making it your own. So a lot of my SA guys do that, or they will work with interior designers, and I can work with them as well. I've got a few on my list that I work with. And yeah, with the rent to rent side of it, it's about freeing up that money so you can use it for your next deposit, and then you grow quicker, hit your financial freedom figure quicker, and then go to the Maldives or whatever you want to do. So, not quite that easy in property. They all imagine it is, but it's not.
No, well, ultimate landlord again. We're trying to be realistic about things. Back to the start again. If I'm going to go out and I'm going to fit out a property, where do I find the items? Is that something that you provide? You provide links, or you have relationships with providers, or can I just go down to a shop near to me, pick up some stuff, and then finance it? How does it work there?
It depends really. The majority of my customers will work with my approved suppliers. So I've got a list of the suppliers I work with. So you've got like your Fusion, your Landlord Furniture Co, Loft, people like that. And also, like I said, there are some interior designers on there, Changing Spaces, people like that. And the majority of them know what they're doing. So if you went and said to them, I need to kit out a 6-bed HMO, they will literally do a pack. And like I said, it will be down to the teaspoon. It will include, if you want them, hoovers, bathroom packs, linen packs, that sort of thing. So if you've got a complete bare HMO and you're like, I haven't really got a clue what I need in it. If you went to those sort of people and just say, I need to fully furnish a 6-bed, 8-bed, whatever it is, they will put a pack together. They will deliver it. They will install it. I think they will even, some of them will stage it for you. So they will put everything in drawers and stuff like that. You don't even need to be there. You need to just get someone to open the door and they will do it. And they will then take that packaging away. Another way of doing it is if they're VAT registered, and they do like to go to IKEA and buy off Amazon and stuff like that, then we can do what's called a sale and lease back. but you can only do it if you're VAT registered. And basically what that is you provide receipts for your purchases and you sell them to the lender and lease it back.
Okay.
So there is that option as well. It's a little bit more time consuming because you've got to have, like I say, receipts, proof of purchase,
Sure.
and then raise your own invoices as well. So it's a little bit more time consuming, but it means you can purchase from more different sort of high street places.
And
If
you can do offices as well. So if you've got an office, you can get your own office using the same process, I suppose.
Yeah, and I've got an office supplier that I work with. But again, you know, if you've got a supplier that you work with and they are VAT registered, then we can have a chat. You know, it's like the hot tub guy up in Cumbria. He'd never heard of leasing. So I rang him up and I said, I've got a customer, he really wants to purchase from you, can we lease? And he was like, well, how do we do it? I explained it to him and he was like, yeah, that's cool. And if I get any more, I'll bring them your way. I was like, okay, cool. So there's that relationship, you know, so my supplier list will grow all the time. I've got a guy in Scotland who only obviously does Scotland and I work with him. So it's about just building relationships with suppliers and educating them on leasing.
Yeah.
And the main thing is the invoicing side of it. That's what's confusing. So the ones that obviously have done it for a little while, done it for years, they got it down to a T, but it's about nurturing those suppliers to work with the customers. So yeah, we can work with other people. It's just a matter of having a conversation and saying, you know, oh, I've got Joe Blogs on the high street. Can we work with him? So.
Well, blimey. What every time I speak to you, it's even more educational than the time before. I just learned so much. I just think, oh, you suggest things to me and I can't get hot tub out of my head at the moment.
Time machine.
All the mattresses anyway. I mean, it's absolutely part of the ultimate landlord or the insightful property system that I've written about and I go on about, because if you're a landlord or if you're a property investor and you're serious about investing, you've got to leverage the cash that you have available on hand. And no matter how much, whether you've got £200 and you're doing your first rent to rent, or you've got £200,000 and you're buying properties for cash, it makes no difference. You will run out of money if you want to if you're focused on accelerating and working as fast as you can. So leasing from me and for my businesses and the people that I work with is an absolute lifeline. You need to be using it, and you need to be using it effectively so that you can, as you said, you know, get that holiday in the Maldives that you've been promising yourself. So it's I'd encourage and implore everybody who's listening to this to really think about what it is that you do and how you can get the most out of the cash and the money that you've got available to you. And if you're of the mindset that you want to grow and you want to grow quickly, then you know, definitely reach out to Claire. What I'll do on this video, I'll pop a link to Claire in the comment section below this video, and you'll be able to speak to Claire. And I'm sure, Claire, I'm going to suggest that people should just reach out to you and ask for help, because you will help them. I have no doubt.
Yeah, if they've got any questions, even if you haven't got a project at the moment, but you're interested in what I do and you want to know a little bit more and you think I might need that in the future, then yeah, give me a call and that. And if you've got projects that you've done and you want to release capital, give us a shout. Or if you've got something going through and you want to actually, you know, start the process, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm here, happy to send out information.
Yeah, I mean, you just made a really good point that I maybe didn't emphasize, or we haven't spoken about. You don't need to be talking to, we can talk to you, and the people listening can talk to you, even if they've already purchased the furniture, because you can retrospectively apply the leasing to furniture that's been purchased, provided you meet certain criteria. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 3 months at the moment. There used to be a lender that did 6 months,
Sure.
But because of lockdown, they've gone off the market at the moment. So I'm waiting for them to come back. So they will do it for a longer period of about 6 months. But the standard is 3 months. So if you've done any projects in the last 3 months, then we can look to get some of the money back out. Also, what a lot of my rent to rent guys do is they will, if they'll get quite a few at once to save a bit of money, as in admin fee, what they do is if they're doing 3 or 4 a month, they will wait till the end of the month and put all 4 on one lease. And that way, like I said, you've got one admin fee, and retrospectively get all that money back out for the next month. So a lot of mine do that. And then, or like I said, you know, if you haven't got the cash, then we can do it one at a time. and get it done up front, so you don't have to pay for the furniture. We can do it pre-delivery, which means the supplier gets paid up front.
Amazing. Okay, guys, anyone listening, you know what to do. We take action. Yeah, I mean, it is part of the, if you look at the insightful property system on our website and the stuff that we talk about, the 3 Ps to maximize your profit, this is a key element of it. It's really important that you use people like Claire to push your finance even further, to push your available funds even further, get more done, and actually save yourself a load of time and hassle as well. As Claire just mentioned, you can get this stuff delivered. You don't even need to be in the house. You don't even need to think about teaspoons and irons and kettles and vacuum cleaners. It's all done for you. Why wouldn't you? Spend your time doing something more exciting. Go and play with the kids, or kick a football around, or do something fun, rather than unwrapping furniture and using those horrible Allen key things to tie up the furniture. It's a no-brainer in my view.
Yeah, 100%. I think I joked about the Maldives and stuff like that, but I think people get into property for lifestyle, and improving your lifestyle, improving time with like your family and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about leasing, is that it will free you up and it will get you there quicker. Yeah, that's why I do it.
Well, I think everybody's probably going to go away now thinking, right, I need to go get my shopping list out and think about what I'm going to do on my next project. Well, hopefully they'll reach out to you. Also, if you're thinking about this, you're thinking that, I need a little bit more, support, reach out to Claire, reach out to us. We do regular courses in Ultimate Landlord, where we have quite high focus on the opportunity costs and the 3 Ps. So if it's something that you want to just learn a bit more about, come along to one of our forums, or come along to one of our one-day workshops, and we'll support you and help you to use what Claire does and what other people do to leverage yourself and your investment part that you've got. So I think all that remains for me to do is say thank you, Claire. What an educational and informative podcast this was. You've got me. I still can't stop thinking about the hot tub. I'm thinking I need a hot tub in each of my houses.
Do it.
I'll tell you what, they'll read straight away. You'll never have a void. You're just never going to have a void here. I'm thinking it's logical. The spreadsheet is going to be out in about 5 minutes. I'm going to work out if it makes statistical sense to put a hot tub in a house for students. I'll keep everybody posted, and I'll let you know, Claire.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's great. Thanks very much for joining us today, Claire. And again, just a reminder for everyone, all the links and the details will be attached to this video. Thanks very much for listening, guys, and I'll see you again very soon.
Thanks so much for joining me on today's podcast, and for being part of the new generation of property investors that act on fact and insight and data-led intelligence. I really want to talk to you, and I really want to share the experience that I've had and others in our movement have had. So please do reach out and talk to me and to the team and the community in Ultimate Landlord. We're really easy to find on social media. All you got to do is search for Ultimate Landlord and you'll find us. But you can also email us if you prefer. That's info@ultimate-landlord.com. All it remains to say, I'll see you in a future podcast, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us.